Thanos was right. That statement is not a joke. It is the terrifying, cold, hard truth hidden at the core of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We call him the Mad Titan, a psychotic tyrant obsessed with genocide. But what if his horrifying act, the snap, was the most rational, most selfless decision ever made in galactic history? What if every hero who fought him, from Captain America to Iron Man, was simply delaying the inevitable doom of the cosmos? Most people dismiss his logic, but they fail to see the chilling philosophical framework that justifies his carnage. In the next 12 minutes, we will break down 5 deep, undeniable arguments proving Thanos believed he was the ultimate savior, and why his logic, viewed through the lens of pure mathematics, is terrifyingly sound. You won't look at Infinity War the same way again. Thanos is not driven by power, money, or even hatred. His motive is rooted in a devastating historical trauma. This trauma is the collapse of his home world, Titan. This wasn't a random disaster. It was a Malthusian catastrophe. Thomas Malthus, an 18th century economist, proposed a simple, brutal formula. Populations grow exponentially, but resources grow arithmetically. Eventually, life will always outstrip its ability to sustain itself. This leads to famine, war, and extinction. Thanos lived this reality firsthand. He proposed a random, non-prejudiced cull of half of Titan's population. His people called him mad. They ignored his warning. Titan died. This single event formed his conviction. Civilizations, left unchecked, are destined to devour themselves. The snap was his divine vow. He vowed to ensure no other world suffers the slow, painful death of Titan. The problem is not evil. The problem is biological sustainability. Thanos' method was random and universal. It wasn't genocide, which targets a specific race or creed. It was decimation. This means the elimination of half of all life. It was taken from every planet, every species, every social class, and every corner of the cosmos. This random selection is the cornerstone of his moral high ground. He took no pleasure in it. He sacrificed his own daughter, Gamora, to complete it. For Thanos, true justice requires absolute indifference to the identity of the victim. If he had chosen who lived and who died, he would have been a tyrant. By leaving the choice to pure, cold, mathematical chance, he believes he acted as an impartial force of nature. He was a necessary, albeit cruel, neutralizer. This eliminates any charge of bias. It transforms the act from a crime into a universal sacrifice. Thanos operates under a dark branch of ethics called negative utilitarianism. Standard utilitarianism seeks to maximize happiness. Negative utilitarianism, however, holds that the highest moral duty is to minimize suffering. Consider the 2 outcomes Thanos faced. Scenario A: allow the universe to continue growing until resources deplete. This would lead to millennia of escalating resource wars. It would cause widespread famine, ecological collapse, and eventually the slow, agonizing death of countless trillions. Scenario B: a single, instant, painless event eliminates half of all life. This guarantees a vibrant, resource-rich future for the remaining half. They would be free from conflict and starvation for generations. In this grim calculus, the immediate, minimal suffering of the snap prevents an infinite amount of future suffering. For Thanos, the suffering he caused was finite and temporary. The suffering he prevented was infinite and eternal. Therefore, the snap was the net good. This is the most common counter-argument. He had the Infinity Gauntlet. Why didn't he just double the resources? Thanos, the ultimate pragmatist, would view this as a temporary fix. He saw it as a cosmic band-aid. First, by doubling the resources, he does nothing to solve the underlying problem. That problem is the exponential growth rate of life itself. The population would simply consume the doubled resources in a few generations. This would require another snap to double resources again, indefinitely. This turns him into an eternal janitor. He would be constantly fighting a losing battle against biology. Second, creating more mass violates the fundamental laws of energy and matter. While the stones can bend reality, Thanos sees his solution as permanent and elegant, addressing the demand population rather than endlessly chasing the supply resources. His method is the only one that respects the scarcity inherent in the universe. He forces life to appreciate the abundance they are given, not the resources they are granted. We often focus on the grief of the survivors, but Thanos' vision was immediately realized on many worlds. His earlier demonstration on Gamora's homeworld, Zenhuberi, resulted in a true paradise. It was a world of peace and prosperity. The immediate effect of the snap was not just less people. It was an instantaneous end to resource competition. The air became cleaner. The oceans were restored. Cities were suddenly half empty. This instantly solved homelessness, traffic, and overconsumption. The survivors were forced to rebuild in a new world of abundance. This dramatic, positive impact is the tangible proof Thanos sought. He didn't just prevent a future disaster. He gifted a current, immediate golden age to the remaining half of the universe. In Avengers, Endgame, Thanos discovers the survivors are not grateful. They are attempting to undo his great work. This changes his entire perspective. It provides his final justification. The new Thanos realizes his initial premise was flawed. The problem wasn't just scarcity. It was the willful, destructive, ungrateful nature of sentient life. His final plan, to destroy the entire universe and build a new one from scratch, reveals his ultimate logic. The species left behind were too arrogant. They were too attached to their momentary loss. They were too blind to see the long-term salvation they were given. By wishing to reverse the snap, they proved they would inevitably repeat the Titan mistake. Therefore, the only true solution is to create a new, grateful universe, a chilling validation that his original, softer method of merely having the population was, in fact, too lenient. So, was Thanos right? Viewed through the cold, ruthless lens of negative utilitarianism and Malthusian arithmetic, his decision to cause a temporary, massive tragedy to avert a perpetual, existential one appears terrifyingly logical. He was not a sadist. He was a cosmic epidemiologist administering a radical, painful cure. He saw the universe hurtling towards extinction. He chose the single, permanent solution he believed would save the greatest amount of life for the longest duration. The sacrifice was monstrous, but the intent was survival. The greatest villain in the MCU may have been the universe's reluctant hero. Now, we turn the question over to you. Considering all 5 arguments, do you believe Thanos' immediate, singular act of horror was justified by the millions of years of prosperity and peace it would have guaranteed the remaining half? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this analysis challenged your perception of the Mad Titan, make sure to subscribe to join our community as we next tackle the one hero who knew Thanos was right all along.